Good morning, everybody. It's 9:05. This is the Marshall County Board of Supervisors meeting in regular session, May 10th, 2022, at the Marshall County Election Center, 107 South First Avenue, Marshalltown, Iowa. Are we okay? Okay. This is a notice to the public. The Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You are requested to approach the microphone, state your name for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given an opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chairperson to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate and a roll call vote will follow. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dan, would you call the roll, please?
Thompson,
Yes.
Salosik,
Yes.
Patton.
Yes,
Please let the record reflect that Supervisor Patton is here by Zoom today. Item number 4 on our agenda is approval of the agenda. I'll entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion then to approve the agenda as printed.
Mr. Chair, I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve our agenda as printed. Any questions, comments, or concerns? There being none, Nan, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Salosik,
Yes.
Patton.
Yes,
Motion carries. Item 5 on our agenda this morning is the consent agenda. The first item is to approve the regular meetings of April 26, 2022, and the special session minutes of May 2nd, 2022. The next item is receipt of the April 2022 claims list to be published with the May 10th, 2022 minutes. Approved claims is audited and authorized by the county auditor and recorder to issue payment of the same. The listings of claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid in the current month will be published as part of the first meeting of the following month. The next item on the consent agenda is to file the sheriff's quarterly report, January 2022 through March 2022. General basic service fees of $10,679.34. Interest on checking of $4.33, and general basic mileage fees of $1,910.09. The last item on the consent agenda is to file manure management plans. There are 4 of them. Blue Valley Pork, ID number 594449, 3255 140th Street, Marshalltown. No changes were made. Corey Aldrich, ID number 65974 at 2741 Brown Avenue, State Center. No changes were made, or with changes, I'm sorry. Caleb Ibccd, ID number 69350 at 1757 Underwood Avenue. No changes made. And last, Tamco Pork 2, ID number 58267 3079 310th Street, Gilman, with changes. This is the end of the consent agenda. I'll entertain motions on its approval, please.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the consent agenda as read.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the consent agenda. Any questions, comments, or concerns? There being none, Nan, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Salosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes,
Thank you. Moving on to item 6. At our last meeting, we were asked to provide a letter of support for Trails Inc. for a Destination Iowa grant application. Trails Inc. is a 501c3 nonprofit, and they're working on raising funds to complete the 17-mile of trails and bridges in Marshall County to complete the Marshall County portion of the Iowa River's Edge Trail. The trail will connect to Hardin County and create a 34-mile trail, which will serve as recreation and tourism attraction for both Hardin and Marshall counties. Most of the trail listed on the American Discovery Trail Coast to Coast Priority System. The trail will draw visitors from around the state and country. This is the next premier trail system in the state. Marshall County Supervisors support this application for Destination Iowa funding for this project to improve recreation, tourism, and alternative transportation. I'll entertain motions on this, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion then to approve letter of support for Iowa River Edge Trails Destination Iowa grant application.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve a letter of support for Iowa Rivers Trail Destination Grant application. I would like to comment that this is a letter of support for them to apply for a grant, and the city or the county does not have any matching funds or any funds in this other than our support for the city in applying for the grant. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? There being none, I'll roll call vote on this item, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 7 on our agenda this morning is to approve a Class C liquor license renewal for the West Marshall Golf Course Association, doing business as Lincoln Valley Golf through June 29th, 2023. I'll entertain motions on this item.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve Class C liquor license renewal for West Marshall Golf Course Association, DBA Lincoln Valley Golf through June 29th, 2023.
And I will second that, please. We have a motion and a second to approve a Class C liquor license renewal for West Marshall Golf Course Association, doing business as Lincoln Valley Golf through June 29th, 2023. Any further questions, comments, or concerns? There being none, Nan, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 8 on our agenda this morning is to approve the issuance of state liquor and tobacco license for Prime Stop Incorporated at 1659 Marshalltown Boulevard, Marshalltown, Iowa. Melbourne, Iowa, I'm sorry. The sale of convenience store gas station is scheduled to close on May 9th, 2022. The new owner, Prime Stop, has filed incorporation documents with the Secretary of State. Prime Stop incorporation of articles were included in our package today. That was item 8. 8A is to approve the issuance of state tobacco license for Prime Stop Incorporated at 1659 Marshalltown Boulevard, Marshalltown, Iowa. I'll entertain motions on this, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion then to approve the issuance of state of Iowa cigarette, tobacco, nicotine vapor license for terms of May 10th, 2022 through June 30th, 2022 and July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 for Prime Stop, 1659 Marshalltown Boulevard, Melbourne, Iowa, and accept payment of $62.50 for the 2 license terms.
I will second that. I want to make sure, are we, okay.
We're
This is-
good.
This is just for the state tobacco license.
Mhm. And
Okay,
we've got the stuff for the,
yep, that'll be next.
no, that we do have that payment, the
Okay.
6250. We have that.
Perfect. We have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions on this? There being none, Nan, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, item 8B is the approve the issuance of the state liquor license for Prime Stop Incorporated at 1659 Marshalltown Boulevard, Iowa. The owner, Prime Stock Inc., has applied for the state of Iowa liquor and alcohol license and privileges. This is a Class C liquor license, Class B wine permit, Class C beer permit with Sunday sales privileges. I'll entertain motions on this item, please.
Motion to approve issuance of state of Iowa liquor and alcohol licenses, Class C liquor, Class B wine permit, and Class C beer permit with Sunday sales privileges for the term of May
10
10,
through May 9 of
May
23.
9 of 2023 for Prime Stop Incorporated, 1659 Marshalltown Boulevard, Melbourne, Iowa, 50162.
And I will second that.
I just want to let everybody know this is where Randall's was, right on the diagonal, right outside of Melbourne. So that's the place we're talking about.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve a Class C E liquor license, B wine permit, and C beer permit. Any further questions, comments, or concerns? There being none, Nan, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosik,
Yes,
Patton.
Yes.
these owners are here this morning.
They are.
And if you'd like to say something,
We just recently bought the business. So Radhavas were in the business from last 18 years without any tickets, without selling, So we are trying to be the same way. And we are here to serve you guys and you all are welcome. We just recently started yesterday. So we have a big cafe there. So we keep it same way. You are more than welcome to come here and join the good food.
we'll be there.
Well, congratulations.
Issues the license. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the world of owning your own business. Your life ends at this point. You have no life anymore. It is the business. Okay, moving on this morning is item number 9, personnel changes. This is to approve employee status change for secondary roads, Travis Daters, from mechanic 1 to mechanic 2, with a pay rate change from $27.02 to $27.88 per hour, effective on 5/14/2022. I'll entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve employee status change secondary roads Travis Daters from MECH1 to mechanic H2. Pay rate change from 27.02 to 27.88 per hour, effective 5/14/2022.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this employee status rate change. Any further comments, questions, or concerns? This is pursuant to our union contracts, and he's obviously moving to the next step. If there's no further comments or questions, roll call vote, please, Nan.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosik,
Yes,
Patton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 10 on our agenda this morning is to approve the lease extension with the Iowa Valley Community College for use of the Orthem Theater at 200 East Main Street, Marshalltown, related to the court services. The dates are from July 22nd, 2020 through December 23rd, 2022. Dan, you want to bring us up to speed on this? You've been
I don't
working with
think
them.
that date is correct, but that's the date in it. It is a document to continue our lease with them. It's a weird end date, December 23rd. I know when you look at that, you're like, why is that just an odd date? It's for getting everything cleaned and prepped for the school district to transfer over to them in early January. So
Okay.
that's why the date is what it is.
And there were no changes other than the date.
I think it's like the Friday before Christmas.
Yes, the
Okay.
Friday before
Yeah.
Christmas. We met with, you and I met with Robin Ankle, or Robin Lilienthal, and
Theron and
Jackie Goodman.
Jackie, okay.
Mhm. So,
Okay.
so IBCCD then will maintain ownership of the
yes,
facility.
they said this
until-
was just the easiest. That was
Okay.
kind of the plan.
Originally, it was going to be maybe September or October that there was going to be a change.
Right, and
Yep.
they said that with what they're wanting to do with the facility, it'll take several months, and they wouldn't have it ready by January, and their big kickoff time is, for the school district, is in July, when they're kind of gearing up for the fall school, so that'll give them a good 6 months of time to get things prepped in that building.
I'll entertain motions on this item if there's no further discussion.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion and to approve lease extension with IBCCD for use of the Orthem Theater, 200 East Main Street, Marshalltown, related to court services from July 22nd, 2020 through December 23rd of 2022.
Mr. Chair, I would second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve this lease. Any further discussion, comments, or concerns? There being none, Nan, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes,
Patton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 11 on our agenda this morning is to approve a memorandum of understanding with Marshall County, Iowa and Jasper County, Iowa relating to a shared cost of construction for two bridges referred to as CO2 and CO6. I know these are down on the Marshall County and Jasper County line. It is a 50-50 split. And Mark, you want to give us a quick explanation?
These are two bridges that Jasper is lead on. Their engineer has acquired a cost estimate for the materials. He knows what that cost is. He's estimated the labor here. These agreements won't be finalized until the project's final. And whatever the final cost is, we split it with him 50-50. So he's got an estimate here thinking this is going to be what the project's going to cost. Total cost of each bridge is $111,121.
And are we or Jasper County doing it with our own personnel or?
Jasper County will do no labor on these.
Okay,
Is this a conventional bridge then that's just being reconstructed or
Jasper
renovated?
County will be replacing these bridges. They, these two bridges, they build themselves and then he set it in place. It's a little different than what we do, but they've got their own crane and everything, so they construct their own bridges.
Yes.
and this comes out of our local option and our BROS swap money?
Yes,
Okay,
this will probably come mostly out of our loss money.
okay,
Their board and auditor have signed these
yeah, I saw
agreements.
that.
So I have the agreements with me for you to sign.
Unless there's further questions, I'll entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve memorandum of understanding with Jasper County, Iowa relating to shared costs of construction for two bridges, FHWA number 199030. CO2 Marshall County share is $55,560 and FHWA 199060 CO6, and this is Marshall County share, again at $55,561 with final payment due before June 30th, 2023, based upon completed construction costs.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this memorandum of understanding. Any further comments, questions, or concerns?
I could tell you, as far as bridge numbers, that would be Marshall County's bridge N19 and N24. The two numbers here were Jasper County's
Okay.
numbers.
Oh,
Same bridge, same FHWA numbers, just how we track bridges.
Okay, and we have done this before. We've split costs with Tama County and other things.
Yes.
When that bridge is right on the line.
Yes,
So this is not uncommon.
we usually, on each side of the county, we have agreements with the counties whose maintenance it is, so that county has to take the actual construction of it. And the other half of the county falls on whoever county is there. So this down here in the south half of the county, I believe everything west of Highway 14 is Jasper County's maintenance, which means in construction they have to do. Anything east of 14, we do the maintenance of.
Just an offhanded question. I'm pretty familiar with all these. Do we share any bridges with Story County?
Yes,
Okay,
there are a couple. There's not many. I think there's only one with Hardin County
yeah,
on the whole north half of the county. There's only one bridge.
we have a motion and a second to approve this memorandum of understanding. Any further questions, comments, or concerns? There being none, roll call vote, please. Nan?
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Motion carries. On to item number 12 this morning is the Marshall County Employee Health and Prescription Drug Benefit Plan and the Marshall County Employee Dental Benefit Plan rates. Discussion and action on setting monthly rates for the fiscal year 2023. Nan, this is in your wheelhouse. You want to bring us up to speed, please?
Yes, the health and prescription drug plan benefits, those rates are the same as they've been in prior years, as well as the employee versus employer split of those numbers are the same. So there's no change there. We just have to approve them each year. The dental plan rates per person, it's actually, if you look at the employee and the employee plus one, it's actually went up 26 cents per person. So the single went from $39.50 and the new rate for July 1 is $39.76. The employee plus one literally is double that number. So it went up 52 cents. So, and then the family was at $90 and it'll be $90.68. So just a very small increase for the year. Our dental plan's also looking, the fund balance is looking good.
We are self-insured on these, so our fund balance is very important and we're in good shape. Okay, I'll entertain motions on these items, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the monthly rates for FY23 as set out above.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the monthly rates for fiscal year 2023 as set out above. Any further discussion, comments, or concerns? There being none, Nan, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes,
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
motion carries. Moving on this morning are some change orders that Lucas has for approval for Bryholz Construction Company change orders for the courthouse interior project. We're going to have some discussion here. So Lucas, would you please bring us up to speed on all these?
All right. We have 6 change orders here this morning. The bulk of them is stuff that's already in the budget, already approved. We just need the actual paperwork to get it going. The first one is plumbing repairs. That's some work that the previous plumber had done on first floor that needed to be reworked. It was wrong, and luckily our current plumber saw a photo of it and said, well, that's not right. That needs fixed. So we could have had some big problems down the road, and we're really lucky we caught that. And they have gone through and, you know, inspected everything again that the previous plumber had done. So we shouldn't have those issues. The second change order is actually a credit back. We changed how the county attorney's entrance in the rotunda was done. So we reduced some materials there, had some credit back. Change order number 31 is the first one. Well, no, not quite. That is replacing all of the exterior doors on the building, the wood exterior doors. There are 4 doors. There used to be 5. We're changing 1 to a window. There are 4 doors that are going to be replaced. 3 of them are an insurance responsibility, and 1 of them is ours. So if you look at our sheet here, $22,671 is insurance responsibility. $5,800 is for us. So that's a pretty easy one to get a door taken care of for $5,800. So that's very nice. The first discussion to have here is change order or potential change order number 32 is in the rotunda. This is a 2-part deal. So in the rotunda on the first floor, there are some conduits and sprinkler pipes that run through the wall that are actually in the space. So we built a little bulkhead around them, and that work has to be done. That work is $1,600. The bulk of this is actually an idea that we had to take our historic exterior doors and use them as kind of a focal point in the rotunda. The plan is to put them kind of in the middle of the rotunda and have them redone and frame them up so they could be opened inside the building and we could display them, because they are really cool old doors. They're big, they're heavy. So the bulk of this change order is actually that, and that's kind of our first discussion. I know in the last meeting we talked about, what else is coming? And I said, well, there's some decisions that we need to make on whether or not we want to do this. So I guess this is that first decision. I think it's really cool. It's going to be a neat thing. We have these old exterior doors. They're huge. I mean, there's nowhere to really put them. So there was kind of a lot of thought in how do we display these, you know, and this is 2 of 4. So I guess there's a decision for you guys to make if you want to spend that.
So these are the
11-ish $1,000.
the 2 red ones that were on the north side of the building.
Yes.
Last time I remember seeing those was when we had Ragbri here.
I'll say it was like
And they-
2006.
They used those for one of the themes for a welcoming
Yeah.
on all the t-shirts was the 2 red doors.
Yeah.
You remember them?
I honestly don't.
They're big doors.
So they're in the back of the shop. They're
10 foot?
8'6" tall
8'6".
and 3 foot wide, but 3.5 inches thick.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
Yeah,
heavy,
they're-
heavy,
Big.
big door.
Yeah. So the idea is to take some steel structure, bolt it to the floor, bolt it to the ceiling, and then trim it out with our historic trim and then set the doors inside of that. The doors would, they'd be fully functional, but locked pretty much all the time because they're going to sit right in front of our access to cleaning supplies and water, what we call the cave, kind of under the main stairs. It would sit right in front of that, well, about 6 feet in front of it, so you could walk all the way around them, but we wanted to be able to open them if we had to get some big pipe into that space. or
Okay,
something.
so you're talking about putting them on the rotunda on first
First.
floor when you come in on the south side in the horseshoe,
Yes, yep,
not in the north rotunda.
no,
Okay,
no, first floor rotunda.
all right. That'd be a good spot for 'em.
It's a really neat location. You know, the doors are old, they're original. So they're 135 years old. A good chunk of this work is actually almost $6,000 to refinish them. So they would be stripped down, refinished, repainted, and look darn close to new. I think it's something really neat that we have a great plan for. We don't have a good location to put them. They're just really big to be putting on the outside of or inside of the building. We looked at a few different places on where we could, you know, if we could use them. There were some options, but not really good. Most of the places where we could put them would be they'd be held open almost all the time, so you'd never really see the difference in them. It'd be like in the rotunda space.
Thoughts?
So the total cost to do all of it is that $12,686. If we didn't do the doors, it would be $1,612.50.
Those two.
I didn't do the rest of that.
12,
Here it's only
66.08 minus.
Oh, actually, it's $11,074.
Oh,
I did
there,
that.
you did the
I
math.
said I didn't. but I did.
1174.
I think it's a great project, wonderful project.
It is.
I'm wondering, was your intent to try to have it done before our open house? Is that?
Yeah.
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 And would it be-
It'd be something that they would start on, you know, if we approved it, they'd start on it pretty quick.
Would
They're,
it be considered semi-permanent then, or?
it would be permanent.
It
Yeah,
would
they'd be
stay-
permanent. Yeah. We would bolt steel structure to the floor to
Mhm.
hold them in place because they're heavy.
You know, right behind it, we're gonna have that small area the night of the tornado. You and I tried to crawl through there to shut the water valves
Yeah, I
off.
think
and
we
couldn't
all
Get it
crawled
shut
in.
down. That's
Oh, yeah.
exactly where
Yeah,
this
it's
is.
nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it would actually go kind of right where this table is. So the idea is that they would mount to the ceiling up here. So you would have light on both sides of them. These are can lights back behind it. So you're able to walk around it. So the door is it's historic on both sides. So the outside of the door is the red, what you used to see, that's really decorative. And then on the inside of the door is what you would see typically on finishes inside the building. So
You know,
this thing's helpful.
Yeah,
We do have we are on the historical register. We have a responsibility to stay with this. I agree with Steve. This is a really cool idea.
it took Jimmy spent a lot of time trying to figure out what we could do with them because
Yeah,
they
We had
were
a
neat.
few different options and
This
this
is
was the one
excellent
that Nan and
spot.
yeah, this is the one that Nan and I like the most.
It's nice too, because we are moving the entrance and we're not gonna have the north entrance coming in anymore, which makes everyone sad. But for security reasons, we need to. It adds a focal point. That's gonna be way more open than it was before, so. It's trying to make that entrance also look more,
There were,
Special.
yeah, there were cheaper options where you could just kind of build it into a wall and stuff like that, but we just thought, with the architecture of the building, it would look funny if we just put it different places, so.
I'm gonna throw you a curve here a little bit.
Okay.
I just, I would like to see us do it ourselves, I guess. You don't think we have the ability to?
Well, to mount it and do it, do we have the ability? Yes. Do we have all of the trim material? I don't think so. And if my staff were doing this, it'd be, I don't know, a year out. They're busy. I know, doing a lot of stuff.
All these change orders, they're within your current budget,
This,
including this, if we do it.
this $11,000 is the only thing that's on this that isn't in the current budget. And this could be something that I can pay for out of my budget as well. The buildings and grounds rather than capital projects. There's a little more leeway in that budget.
You've actually got the dollars to work with to do this.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's been one of the beauties why we haven't had to go out and borrow money for the courthouse project is we've saved ahead. We had those dollars, plus we've continued to levy for our buildings and grounds expenses on the courthouse, which has prevented us from having to borrow.
Correct.
Boy, I'll tell you, I'm right with you. I'd like us to be able to do it in-house, but at the same time, to get it done in a timely fashion. And as long as we can stay within budget,
I think we can do this within budget. I think Bill said it a couple of years ago, if we're worried about, $10,000 here and there, we're in a lot more trouble than we think, so.
and we've been in pretty good shape.
Yeah. Agreed.
Bill, you're awful quiet on this. Any thoughts?
I like the idea and I support it.
Okay. Well, I think you got your marching orders on that particular portion of this. Let's keep going through the change orders, please.
Sounds good. The next, number 33 is something that's been in the budget all along. We just got the detailed quote for it, so we're adding that into this for approval. The last one, exterior masonry, we've talked about this a few different times. I do have a touch of a change on this. So we bid this out essentially into 5 different sections. Originally, there was 3. There was alternate 1, which was what OPN said needs to be done right now. That cost us the $235,000. Alternate 2 is something that needed to be done within the next few years. That was 3 years ago. So that's right on our hit list. Alternate 3 was something that could be pushed out a ways. It's $18,500 and some change. We also have a quote that is an insurance responsibility, and you see it under your sheet there in storm. That's $282,666. That is the detailed capitals just under the roof line that were damaged in the tornado and by construction that EMC will need to pay for. My proposal today is I actually got one more line in this late, and it is to on the east side of the building just outside, just inside the generator. There are two windows that we took out and ran some utilities through. What I'd like to do is actually take out the $18,000 for the alternate 3 and add in, it's $14,047.03 to infill those windows with actual masonry. The material that's infilling those windows right now, that was done probably 12, 15 years ago. It's just, it's dated. It's gonna need some work anyways, and it should have been infilled with masonry to start with.
Are those gonna be where our boardroom is, or are they gonna be in the
It's
IT where
it's in
the
the
server
IT
room?
office. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It'll help secure up the server room a little better and seal up that side of the building.
Boy, if it's gonna be in the server room, I just assume it was done now.
It should have been done when it happened. It's, yeah, it's something that's been a thorn in my side for a while. So
Okay.
it was just easier to do it this way because they ran mechanical through there and they ran electrical and, you know, somebody saved a few dollars.
Okay, so once again, I'm gonna come back to my question. We've got 321,000 of owner responsibility on the exterior masonry.
Yep.
Is that in your budget?
Yes.
So it's
Yes,
just,
and with this, it actually reduces down that $4,000. So it goes to 316,690.71. If you
Okay.
take out alternate 3 and add in the infills.
okay,
So we
and
can reduce it 4,000.
that's doing all the alternates?
No, that's taking out alternate 3, which is
Right,
mainly crack injection. So there's some cracks in the courthouse in the limestone that have been there probably since it was installed. And they're actually called out on the 70s prints when they did the remodel in the 70s. And from what everybody's seen on it, they haven't expanded. They haven't been a problem since then. So that work could be pushed out years.
okay, so are we pushing anything out here by going with this figure, or are we doing it all?
I want to take the alternate 3 out, which is basically crack injection, which takes out $18,499.68 and add in the window infill for $14,047.03.
So we're all actually doing alternate 1.
We're doing alternate 1, alternate 2, the capitals for the insurance and the window infill. That's
Okay,
my
I got you.
recommendation.
All right,
So it's still the 711,808, right?
For the total then would be 707,355.62.
Okay, again, 707,355.72.
62 cents.
Okay,
So it's basically what you had before, reduction of about $4,000.
okay.
thoughts?
Gotta be done.
Gotta be done. And we've already budgeted, staying within our numbers.
Yeah, and the 305, 305, 370, or 338 is insurance.
Yeah.
So that's a big, when you look at a big number, it's always scary.
So about 45% of this isn't a Marshall County responsibility.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, unless we need additional explanation or discussion on this item, I will entertain motions, please.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the Bryholz Construction Company change orders in the amount, let's see, I get this right, $707,355.72,
62,
52 cents.
6.
6-2.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the change orders as amendment to 707,355.62. Any further discussion, questions, or comments? There being none, Nan, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosik,
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Getting closer. Item number 14 on our agenda this morning. Do we have Kim with us or is she still traveling?
Nope, I have you here if you can hear
Okay.
me.
Can you give us a brief update on any changes since the last update?
Yep, so I sent out the information to the board and our siren committee. Looking at that right now, and it had the total for our projected project for sirens, and that's unincorporated and incorporated. It has the amount that is set aside for FEMA funding at this point, which is $429,000. And then it has options on there. So the FEMA funding would be at 75%. The state funding would be at 10% and the local funding 15%. And so there's some options there. That was just like an FYI type thing. So I have option 1, option 2, and then option 3, which we discussed somewhat at the last Board of Supervisors meeting. But I sent that out on the 26th, and I just would like the board to look through that and decide what they would like to do. So at this point, the project total was $733,933. And that then is broken down in that document. I sent you back the documents also from the last ARPA committee meeting where it showed the $350,000 being set aside as possible. And that was discussed at the Board of Supervisors meeting, which I also sent out those, a copy of those minutes from, let's see here. All right, I'm trying to look on my phone as we're going. Yeah, I can't see it here. But anyway, those were sent out to you. So if you could review all of those, what we're doing is we're waiting on a decision of which option we want to do. That would have been January 18th supervisor meeting. So we have the first countywide grant submitted by Marshall County to the state. And we were first in line for a countywide project. They would like to fund us that total that I just mentioned, the 429,000, I believe it was, which is all FEMA has at this point for Iowa, for a whole county project. So we are first in line. We just need to decide, do we want to do option 1, option 2, option 3? The priority.
Let me
Go ahead.
get this right. So you've got a decision from this grant that we will receive $429,000 from FEMA.
We are unofficially, that's what they've given us. Yes, the state gave me that. I have to finish the grant because if I don't finish the grant, we're not actually in line. I have it submitted and they have set that aside for us pending we finish this application. So yes, that's what it looks like at this point. So if we apply now, we have to look at those options that we have right there. So option 1 being, fully fund, I think is what it was. I'm not looking at right now. And add some ARPA dollars to finish out the project. So basically breaking it into 2, or not do the complete project, which would mean that the cities would have their sirens funded. Because of population density, it would be cities first. The unincorporated areas and the county basically would get the digipeters and the controllers for the communications center and all that backbone basically of the project, and possibly a couple of sirens. I have to sit down and figure out that exact amount. But if we didn't do the extra funding from like an ARPA type, above and beyond what you had committed, what it was, 52,000, 54,000?
Or 54,000.
I think 54.
So it's just playing with those numbers and deciding whether we want to do the full proposed project and get things done now before obviously increase. But do we want to look at all that? Do we want to add some ARPA dollars into that? Or do we want to do a partial project and then fund some later? Obviously the things with doing a partial project price increase, like we know. The other thing might be, will be, if we don't have as many sirens out in the unincorporated area, that means that we probably would have to fund more digipeters to make those sirens that we do get work. And Rhonda can explain that a little bit better, but basically they speak to each other, so they have to be within a certain range.
I guess I was under the understanding that the incorporated cities would be paying for their own sirens, and we were going to be under the responsibility of the unincorporated and outside of the city limits.
They still have their 15% in that. We're just as one project, since we went in as a whole county like FEMA wanted us to, which did kick us into the you're eligible type category. So we're one project, but we have to prioritize what we want since there isn't enough funding to fund the whole project. Does that make sense? So we have to prioritize what we would like to do with the funds that we are able to get through FEMA.
Okay, and are you still going to be able to stay with what we previously put in our budget with the $54,000? Or is that going to be additional funding?
If you're wanting to do the 54, if you're wanting to do the full project, your 54,000 will be really close to, yes, your 15% of the project, of the unincorporated project. Even though it's one project, I do have it divided out into incorporated and unincorporated, just so you can see numbers. But that does leave a gap because of having to prioritize those sirens. There's some dollars there because of FEMA's lack of enough funding to fund our full project. So it's confusing. I definitely would love to sit down and sit there and go through that optional sheet that I sent out. If there's a time I can sit down and just go through that with everybody. The main thing we need to know is, which option do we want to go so we can push this project through. So county can totally drop off, which would not help the project, obviously, because we have to have that backbone to make it work. The cities are, obviously it's still a go, and they have their 15%. It's just a matter of prioritizing what do we want to do with the dollars we're getting, since it's submitted as one project.
I'd like to, if we could, have a face-to-face meeting on this and get all the proposals out on the table and get this nailed down.
I agree.
Kim, have you sent us, you said last meeting you were going to send us an email with a spreadsheet.
Yep,
with
I
numbers.
did. Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I ever got that.
Sent that out on the 26th. And it had
January
of April. It had the January Board of Supervisors minutes. It has the spreadsheet. It's not really a spreadsheet, but it's a Word document that I've written it all out on. And then a let's see. Oh, and the last ARPA committee meeting minutes and spreadsheet.
Okay.
And I believe it went to board, I think Nan, and I think our committee. Rhonda, did you get that one?
I got it. I'm forwarding it.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind having a special session on this.
I think that would be in order. I'd love to.
If we could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would agree.
kind of have an idea. of
Let's get all the parties together, look at our calendars and have a special session.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, if there's a way, I don't know if you can do it next Tuesday, the 24th, do you have a regular, or I mean the 17th, I'm sorry. Do you have a regular meeting that day?
We have one the 24th. Our next meeting is the 24th.
Okay.
When do you have to have this into FEMA?
Well, the sooner the better. And they knew I was on vacation this week. So I said, make sure that you realize we're not responding right now. We had a pause. And I told them we would meet with you today, possibly, like you just said, have a special meeting so we can go through it in detail. As soon as we have that special meeting, we can move forward. The city part of it is pretty much explained to them, not a problem. It's just that county part gets a little strange because we have more parts to the project.
Well, Kim, can we have a special meeting on the morning of the 17th, which is next
I
Tuesday?
will not be here.
You won't be here? How about the 16th?
16th would work also.
I'm out all week.
Okay,
I'm on vacation.
Nan's gone all week. And
Okay.
then we have to be very cognizant on special sessions after that because absentee voting will begin on the 20th.
18th.
18th, and we cannot be in this room because several of us are on the ballot.
Right.
How about the end of this week, like the 12th and the 13th?
13th would work for me.
Okay, that's Friday.
Friday, the 13th. That seems like not a good day to do it.
Not
despite
for
what it-
emergency stuff.
That seems wrong in some way, but could we move
So
it
do
to
you
like
have
10?
triskaidekaphobia then?
Mhm. But just saying it out loud didn't sound very good.
No.
I've always considered it a lucky day, so it's all good. Good. So, yeah, I would be able to do a 10 o'clock on the 13th if it works for all of you.
If it can be only about an hour, that would be fine.
Yep,
I
if
think
you have all the
On the
documentation. give
13th,
me all
I've got
the-
appointments.
Yep,
We
Okay,
try and do it on the 13th at 10.
Bill, does that work for you?
yep, I'm good with that.
okay. Yeah, we'll sit down and have all your questions for
I
Dan.
can do 11, but I can't do 10. I can try and be available by
Okay,
phone. but
let's just do it that way.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
try my best, but I don't know if I can be here.
Okay.
So 10 then.
Sheriff,
Still
how's
10.
that sound for you? Okay, let's do 10 o'clock on
Okay,
Friday the 13th.
sounds
Sounds
great.
good.
I'll let the state know, that way they know we're working forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brenda.
Next item on our agenda, are we done with that one? Okay, next item on our agenda is discussion only. Michael Galloway is here from Allers and Cooney and has a report. And I will turn this over to Nan and Michael.
You guys want?
Come on up to the table.
Bill is here. Bill. I have obviously a drinking problem.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Chair, you want to start?
The floor is yours.
All right. Well, I was contacted by Nan, and my understanding there was some concerns as it relates to compensation issues in the treasurer's office. It's my understanding that Mr. Heil had come to the board and said that there had been some substantial turnover in his office and that it was his concern that it was due to the wages that were being paid. As the board knows, under Iowa Code 331, I call it the 900s, right? The 904, 905, that's where we talk about how compensation levels are set. And the Board of Supervisors has the authority and given to them by the code to set the salaries and wage levels of clerks in all of the elected officials' offices. So when we have this situation, this is something for the board to take a look at. So beyond setting those salaries as it relates to any managerial or supervisory authority over the treasurer's office and or any of the elected officials, whether it be the auditor's office, the recorder, well, you don't have a separate, the auditor, recorder, the county attorney, things like that, the sheriff's office, those are independent elected officials. And so you have no management or supervisory authority. You set their budgets. And we all work together to get policies and procedures in place, but it's for them as independent elected officials to manage those things within their office. So my task was then to say, okay, are we having a turnover issue in the treasurer's office due to wages? Nan was very nice in helping me set up interviews of employees or former employees of the treasurer's office, as many that were willing to talk. And I don't remember the exact number, it was probably 7 or 8 or 9 that wanted to come in and visit with me and discuss. And I can tell you from that discussion, not one of them conveyed to me that they had left due to a wage or a salary issue. Reasons that were given are obviously confidential personnel matters that I can't express or talk to you in a public meeting. I can tell you that obviously pay is a public issue. I mean, all of our salaries here in the county are public, whether you're covered by a collective bargaining agreement, whether it's set by the board, or whether it's set by the comp board and approved by the board of supervisors. So when the board is considering whether they need to increase wages in certain areas, I can tell you as it relates to this issue, there was no one that had told me that they had left because of wage issues. Any information that I would have gleaned, as you can imagine, sometimes when I meet with employees, and I've been doing this for 25 years, folks, so I sometimes get a lot of other information beyond what I'm tasked with doing. If I have other information I have that it causes me any question or concern, I will refer it to the appropriate individuals within county government.
Were any of the people that you interviewed currently employed?
No, they were all people that had left.
Past.
Yes.
Past employees.
Some pretty recent, some a little further down or a while ago, but just within the last 7 years.
Yes, some are still county employees, but no longer just in the treasury.
Some are no longer county employees.
Yeah.
Mr. Galloway, this is Bill Patton, and I'm on Zoom here. I've got a kind of a question for you. Would it be safe to assume that nobody left their job at Marshall County Treasurer's Department because of stress created from working with the public?
From stress created working with the members of or taxpayers, basically, Bill, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I did not hear any of that. That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I have no questions.
No, sir.
It's the quickest report I've given in a long time. Anything else? And I'll let you get on with your meeting.
Thank you for coming up.
Absolutely. I'm on my way to Cedar Rapids.
Yes, he just took a little detour.
Just took a detour.
Good. Good.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Well, this was a discussion item only, so there's no action to be taken. If there's no further questions for Michael by anybody, we're going to move on to our next item. Item number 16 on our agenda is items that have been previously tabled.
I was going to untable it at this meeting, but I'd rather have Bill here.
Okay.
In person. So
All right, so we'll
our
leave it
next
there.
meeting, maybe we can do it at that time.
All righty. We're moving on in our meeting to item number 17. This is public forum. This is a time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in public forum. Nan, you always have something for the good of the order.
I do, and you referred to it before. May 24th, our next meeting, 2 weeks from today, we will be having absentee voting going on in this location. So we need to find an alternate location just for that one meeting. And James is here, so for us to be able to do this, bank, we could go back to the bank. I know there is some issues with our network connection, for lack of a better
It's a
term.
limited pipe, I think, for a meeting of this size would probably work. We'd rig the owl and bring some equipment. It wouldn't be as good as this, but we
You
should
know,
be able to get through it.
a place we
could also-
sometimes forget, it's not a huge room, but we do have the conference room in the new annex.
We do. Lucas mentioned that.
Has all of the amenities and the connection.
this-
You're
it would-
looking at, I
You're
know
looking
it's
at-
a lot smaller.
8, 9 people.
Yeah.
Max.
Depending on, I don't know what's on the agenda. It may be just a quick, easy meeting. But
I don't see any burning things on the horizon that are gonna cause a,
We usually have
huge
around
swell.
15 people in here in 2 more weeks. Yeah,
15 in that room is gonna be standing room only.
it will be, it's small, it's a small room.
I could sit 8 at the table and there's room around for maybe 5, 6 more. It'd be tight.
I've
I'm
been in
just
there
telling-
with meetings for other things and public health.
COVID numbers are going up. I don't,
Okay,
that's,
another alternative
why.
is we could reach out to the city and ask to use the room in the Coliseum.
either of those rooms are a lot bigger.
You know, we've always cooperated before. That'd be a pretty good one.
Yeah, that would work too. It's just whatever your preference is and we can work on making that happen.
You know,
I
as
can
long as it is, you're the auditor recorder, so
I'll
this
find
is
a
kind
spot
of in your
for us and we'll
wheelhouse.
see, and I'll work with James to see what we think is the best option
Okay.
and go from there. But just so everyone kind of knows this will not be the spot and make sure they know to go to the alternate location.
I would say probably the best would be to reach out to the city if we can.
It would, because even the room, I was just in it last night for United Way, the Martha Allen Ty room there. It's at least double the size of our annex conference room.
And we hold all our Region 6 meetings in that room
Yeah, and the bigger one that we had this joint
at the end of
cities,
the hallway.
the city, yeah, that's the Martha Allen Ty
Yeah.
room. That's a nice room
That's a
too.
very nice room.
There's nice ones upstairs too.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of options there. So I'll reach out to the city.
Okay. Anything else under public forum? No? Okay.
See, it wasn't that bad for
If
me
there's
this time.
nothing else for the good of the order, we are going to move on to adjournment. Let the record state that we are adjourned at 10:07. We don't have the normal thing at the end of this.
No,
Which is announcing when our next board meeting is.
let me pull that up online.
24th.
It's a
Our
24,
next board meeting will be
May
May
24th.
24th. At this
Location.
time, the location is unknown. I'm gonna do this from memory. Any business to come before the board needs to be to either the auditor recorder or the board office by what date?
May 18th
May 18th
at 1
Yeah.
noon.
at noon. How did my memory do?
It's not
I
even on
think,
there.
I
I
think
thought
we're
she
pretty
might
close.
have cut.
That being said, we've got our notice of our next meeting and possible location, which we will disclose later. And we are adjourned at 10:07.